What's up, y'all? This is Kaleem Musa talking to all the dads during Proud Dad Week. So excited to be here today, share a little bit about my journey in fatherhood, and also to provide a few words of encouragement and support for all of my fathers out there. Whether you're a new father, whether you're a father that's been in the game for quite some time, I'm excited to call myself a father. So growing up, I grew up under an abusive father. My dad was straight out of prison. One of my earliest memories of a child was being abused by him in my home. Shortly after him and my mother divorced, he came back in and out of our lives, and there was a lot of other trauma that happened to myself and my sister. So growing up, I didn't really have an example of what fatherhood actually looked like. I actually would observe my friends who had fathers in their lives, and I would try to imitate and maybe mimic what I thought being a father meant. Later on in life, I had the fortunate, by God's grace, to run into a man that really took me under his wing around the time I was 17. And he became the model for fatherhood, taking care of his family, the way he worked, the way he navigated, and his overall temperament really helped mold me as a father today. As I grow up, as I age and get older, and I have 5 children now of my own, I found myself a lot of times unequipped for fatherhood, unprepared, and no parenting has a manual. But I do think that there are some lessons and some things that you can learn as a father if you're connected to other people in the community. So as a lot of my friends now are beginning to have children, I'm starting to see that there's not really a lot of support for fathers, especially, black men coming in the game. And I think that it's critical that we begin to have greater discussions around what does fatherhood look like. We can meet on a lot of different planes as men, right? We can like to talk about money or business or, sports or what's kind of going on. But in a lot of circles, fatherhood is not really discussed to the extent that it should be. Even as folks sometimes struggle with fertility and all types of other issues, we don't really seem to be open and vulnerable about what we're doing as fathers. We're not sharing best practices. We're not sharing shortcomings, things where we're failing, things that we need more wisdom and more guidance on. And I want to encourage fathers today to first get connected to other men that are fathers, to begin to have those conversations. If you're a new dad, you need to know things like, how to support, your partner. If you and your partner are together, like my first children, you need to know how to navigate that, how to navigate, finance, child support, and then basic things like how to change, diapers, how to support the child, how to be prepared for a newborn who may be crying a lot, how to be prepared for changes in your schedule, how to be prepared to deal with the child as the child ages and comes into their own, the difference between possibly raising, male or female or kids that identify with different genders. These are all things that, we do not have a lot of information, and there's not a lot of conversations happening on. So first, I feel like we need to we need to support that, right? We need to come together, we need to fellowship, start having some real conversation, because in my idea, the mark of manhood is really how vulnerable you can be. It's not a weakness to be vulnerable. It's actually a type of strength to be able to open up to someone to say, I need help, or I'm struggling in the area. We have to support our kids. We have to support each other's kids. We have to support one another. We have to turn off our cell phones when we're recording. And we have to, support one another. Another thing is, during Proud Dad Week, let's celebrate, fatherhood, right? A lot of times you see on the internet, Happy Father's Day, but it's not really like a lot of conversation throughout the week. So if you see a dad, you see somebody on their job, and I don't mean somebody just pushing the stroller. I mean someone who's really taking that craft of fatherhood serious, someone who's striving, someone who's reading. That's the thing too. Like, you can read up on this topic, right? Childhood development and fatherhood is a thing you can actually study, the same way you study anything else, whether it's, like I said, sports, or whether it's business or money moves or investment. What greater investment than the investment into your children? So this is something that has to be studied as well. And we have to celebrate people who are doing that incredible work. It wasn't too long ago, I'm old enough to remember, when people said the reason why these kids are running astray is because they don't have their fathers in their lives. And that was the predominant narrative happening, right? And so now we're about 2 decades away from that, and it doesn't seem to really be the narrative, but I do feel like the importance is still there. The role of a father in a child's life is invaluable. The impact is incalculable. Regardless of how many people come up like myself did without a father and may seem to do well on in life, if you add in a strong father figure, an individual who can be there for that child in the way that they can, and they're growing themselves as a man, it's absolutely immeasurable the impact that they will have on that entire family unit. And it's those family units that create the strength of a community, and which create the strength of a nation, so on and so on. And so let's be more intentional about celebrating one another, really shouting each other out. Like when you see people on their job, man, you know, sending a text message. I see you out here. I saw you and your daughter, you and your son. You know what kind of ideas? How did you celebrate your daughter's birthday? What did you do for your son this week? Or, you know, I'm feeling like we're disconnected. How can, you know, I see what's going on with you and them. How can we, how can I get some of that into my life, into my situation? Really the hunger to be a great and to be excellent fatherhood. Out of all the titles that I've had in my life, whether it's artist, whether it's creative, whether, you know, entrepreneur, whether it's leader, none of those titles compare to dad. It is my absolute favorite title. And it's the thing that I take the most pride in, and it's the thing that I'm grinding the most for and working hard for. So I just want to send those jewels out to, like I said, all existing dads. I see you. I love you. I appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining the activities on Proud Dad Week. If you see a father, support a father, celebrate a father, show some love. Let's really normalize this thing of being a fatherhood. Let's really wear this as a crown of achievement and celebrate it and elevate the status in our community for the dads that are really holding it down and being active and providing support and healing and help and, you know, not judgment, but, you know, just open arms to people that want to even repair the relationships with, you know, their children, because that's equally as important too. Fatherhood is so important. We can't leave anybody left behind in this game. We have to pull on all types of folks, and if they didn't get it right the first couple years, we have to extend that grace and passion to help people get it right in the latter years, because it is a lifelong journey. So it's never too late to really repair that relationship. So enjoy Proud Dad Week. My name is Kaleem, and I appreciate your time.